Closely held corporations represent over 90% of all companies in the United States. Yet many people don't fully understand how they work or the unique characteristics of their stock. These business entities offer distinct advantages for founders and families who want to maintain control while enjoying the benefits of incorporation. A closely held corporation is any company with a limited number of shareholders. While its stock may occasionally be publicly traded, this isn't common practice. These corporations typically share several key characteristics. They're small corporations with few shareholders. They can be structured as either S corporations or C corporations. State laws dictate limits on their stock shares. Most are family-run businesses with a more informal structure, meaning some decisions don't require board approval. The shareholders directly control company operations, and their agreement outlines how business decisions are made and places restrictions on stock sales. Unlike publicly traded companies, where ownership is widely distributed and professional managers run operations, closely held businesses maintain concentrated ownership. This might include traditional investors, but often involves family members. Even some large publicly traded companies remain family-controlled through board seats, senior management positions, and preferential voting privileges. Family members can maintain dominance even with less than 50% shareholding. By definition, a closely held corporation is private, but not all private corporations are closely held. The key distinction is the concentration of ownership and restrictions on stock transfers. Many closely held corporations are small businesses, but some can grow quite large while maintaining their closely held status. Closely held corporations offer several significant advantages. First, they provide control and decision-making authority, allowing founders and family members to maintain direction without interference from external investors. Second, they offer operational flexibility, as fewer shareholders mean quicker decisions without extensive approval processes. Third, they provide privacy, as these companies don't have to publicly disclose financial information to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Fourth, they can focus on long-term vision, prioritizing sustainable growth over short-term stock performance pressures. However, these corporations also face important limitations. Liquidity is restricted since shares cannot be easily sold or transferred. If a shareholder wishes to sell, another shareholder must purchase the shares because public sales aren't permitted. Valuation becomes complex, requiring independent appraisal to determine fair market value. Capital raising options are limited without access to public markets. And succession planning presents risks that require careful management for leadership transitions. Closely held stock specifically refers to shares that aren't available on public exchanges and are held by a limited group, often founders or family members. Transfer of these shares is governed by legal agreements. A small number of controlling shareholders typically hold the majority of shares and maintain their investments long-term. This structure makes hostile takeovers difficult, providing stability for the business. Share prices in closely held corporations tend to remain stable due to infrequent trading. While this stability benefits the business, it can make raising capital more challenging. These companies typically raise funds through private investors or venture capitalists rather than public offerings. For owners of closely held stock, tax and estate planning are crucial considerations. Strategies for estate tax mitigation and business continuity often include trusts and detailed leadership succession plans. Shareholder agreements typically include specific restrictions on transfer, valuation methods, and provisions to preserve control within the intended group. One interesting option for closely held stock owners is charitable giving. Stock can be donated to nonprofit organizations, offering tax advantages such as capital gains, reduction, and charitable deductions. This requires proper valuation and approval from both the corporation and the receiving organization. Understanding closely held corporations and their stock is essential for entrepreneurs, family business owners, and potential investors in private companies. While these business structures provide remarkable control, privacy, and stability, they require careful planning for succession, valuation, and eventual transitions. With proper legal and financial guidance, closely held corporations can serve as powerful vehicles for building and preserving family businesses across generations.